Namaste everyone. Welcome to the Cārvāka podcast. This is your host Kushalmehra. All right. As we had promised in our last podcast, there was only one condition under which we were going to have a mid-series review from the pre-series preview. That was when India does better in this series. And after two test matches, we realized that as India has done reasonably well, Aadit and I are back. I don't know where Navneet is. I sent him the link. Apparently, या तो वो भूल गया है या तो उसका लैपटॉप खराब है. मुझे नहीं मालूम नवनीत किधर है. As always, उसकी सुई लेट चलती है. We are going to start. So Aadit, how are you doing?
Good. Better than when we recorded the preview. We did far better. And let's not forget, पहली टेस्ट में भी हम जीत सकते थे अगर बारिश नहीं हुई तो. So we actually sort of dominated or were in the dominant position in both the test matches.
Yeah, so okay, let's do this. So before we get into the second test match, because that is the easier one, let's talk about the first test match. Now the first test match, I agree with you. Even on the face of it, I felt that going on the last day, considering the rains and all the other shenanigans, I think India had the upper hand. We were 52 for the loss of one wicket, right? Pujara and Rohit were on the crease.
In fact, Pujara had a strike of 87, which was stunning. When we
I think that was Pujara's highest strike rate for his life.
Probably. उतनी तो IPL में भी नहीं आने वाली.
Yeah, so that was a very good thing. But what did you make overall of the first test match? Do you think overall, if you look at it from a session by session basis, do you think India had the upper hand in that test match, or it was 50-50 going into the last day in terms of session by session?
In fact, I would say India dominated the first test match more than they dominated the second test match. The first day when you bowled out England for 180, no doubt you were in the lead. The only time where I think England got, I mean, let's not even say England. The only person who got between India and England at that time was Joe Root. If Joe Root did not hit that magnificent century, India would have been able to wrap up things probably either late day 4 or early day 5 or something. He was the reason why England dominated their third innings. Going into the final day, a target of I think 204 or something, 200 odd runs was required. I would say it was a 60-40 sort of arrangement. Let's not forget, our middle order is only stronger now, or looks in a much better shape after the second test match than it did after the first test match. It looked in a very bad shape. So if say you get a couple of quick wickets and India is like 60 for 3 or 70 for 4, then it could be anything because the ball was going to swing. The wicket was very helpful to the fast bowlers, and it would have been very rainy and gloomy.
Yeah, but don't you think in the first test... okay, let us now talk about the selection of the first test match. Were you happy with the team selection in the first test match?
Not really. I would not have. I mean, I have consistent. You do not play both Shardul Thakur and Ravindra Jadeja. I said that on the podcast. It was going to be either Thakur or Jadeja, and you would have had to play Ashwin. Now, I like Ravindra Jadeja's point that he bats well and stuff, but you also have to look at your best spinner, and he is the best spinner in the world right now. I don't know what Kohli was doing leaving him out for both the test matches. I got trolled on this for Twitter, and I say this again, in the second test match, he should have played. Many people were like, "Arey, par 20 wickets, fast bowlers nahi." I was like, but the wicket was taking turn. It just shows if Moeen Ali can pick up 2 or 3 wickets on this wicket, on this pitch, then Ashwin would have been far more dangerous on this wicket.
Yeah, so let us stick to this Ashwin issue. So what kind of a strategy should one look at when we are talking about from a pure cricketing sense point of view? As you said, Ashwin, I think he's the best spinner in the world today, by far. I mean, Nathan Lyon is probably the second after him, if one was to consider that. And as far as I know, Australia never drops Nathan Lyon. Doesn't matter where they go. In a test match, Nathan Lyon is their stock spinner. He plays every match. Now, in the first test, obviously Ishant was injured, so they picked Shardul Thakur. And what we heard from whatever little we could gather from the test, the press conference and the replies, whatever we could, it was that they wanted to bolster their batting. Now, if that is the case, how is Ravichandran Ashwin not a better batsman than Shardul Thakur?
Also, Shardul Thakur got out for 0, so I don't know what. I mean, see, this is the kind of, if Kohli is viewing both Ashwin and Jadeja as spinners who can bat, then that is the biggest issue, right? I think the fundamental difference between Kohli and Dhoni is that Dhoni was always looking at spinners as an attacking option, right? And same for Rahane. I don't think, maybe it's because of Kohli's attitude or something, or I don't know how he manages his team. And I don't want to go into that, but he prefers fast bowlers to spinners, no doubt. And our fast bowlers are absolutely brilliant. But if you have the best spinner in the world who can be a potential attacking option, you go with it. If the wicket is swinging, you sub Jadeja for Thakur. If the wicket is spinning, you play Jadeja. It's not Jadeja or Ashwin. That's just not how it works. And because the reason is, Jadeja is always a restrictive bowler, right? He is your attacking option on the wicket which is turning square. He can give you 1-2 wickets and things like that. Ashwin has the potential of picking up 3 or 4 wickets on a flat day 1, day 2 wicket. That's what he did in Australia. He picked up wickets in Adelaide. I know people want to forget the Adelaide Test match. I want to too, because of what happened in our second innings. But in the first innings, Ashwin bowled brilliantly. That bowled to get rid of Steven Smith. Same in Melbourne. Same in the next third Test match. So that it's Sydney, I think, was the third Test match. So that is the attitude that we should have gone with. I still think Ashwin should play all the next 3 Test matches. Ishant bowled pretty well, but you cannot drop Siraj and Bumrah after what they did, and Shami just has to play. So I mean, unfortunately, Ishant Sharma will have to be dropped for the next Test match.
Okay, but I don't get it, right? See, the reason it's so hard to get Kohli on this one is that वो साला जीत जाता है. So he got Shardul. Shardul ने 2 विकेट ली दोनों इनिंग में, and he got crucial wickets, by the way. He got wickets when we needed them.
No, that's what I'm saying. I think Shardul should have played. Ashwin should have played instead of Jadeja in the first Test match.
But यार जडेजा ने तो वो crucial runs बनाए हर इनिंग में, first और second Test में.
Yeah, no, but I'm not. No, well, second Test he got out on a duck in the second innings, right? Or 1 or 2.
Yeah, he did.
So that is a gamble we have to take, right? But I'm saying, if you are playing instead of Jadeja, if you're playing Shardul and Ashwin, then you have sort of half batsmen and attacking bowlers, right? So they are not as bad. Or given how Shami and Bumrah have batted in the first 2 Test matches, I refuse to make many batting jokes about them. वो बेचारों ने बड़ी application दिखाई है दोनों ने.
Yeah, so that is very interesting. So I agree with you about the first Test match. India leaned and had a slight upper hand over England, but I think, in my opinion, the first Test match was also pretty close than how it is made out to be. I think this series has not been a walkover for India. What it seems as of now, after 2 Test matches, especially the way we won in the end, in 50 odd overs, we have knocked them over in Lords, which I definitely don't believe had demons in the pitch. There were no real demons in the Lords pitch. The point is, we can overlook a lot of issues with India. And one of the issues is that, okay, first of all, one of the openers, which was KL Rahul, was an afterthought. उसको लिया क्योंकि कोई इंजर्ड था, तो वो तो लॉटरी निकल गई भैया. Right? Mayank was injured, so Mayank की जगह में KL आया. And basically, KL took to the opportunity, he scored an 80, and then in the second Test, obviously, he scores a wonderful 100, and now he has pretty much cemented his place as an opener for a while at least. Rohit has been playing well. I know he got out to that hook shot, above the shoulder, left shoulder. That's a problem Rohit has. He's an incessant hooker and puller of the ball. That's something that's always going to be there.
He's literally like the senior version of Rishabh Pant. He'll play beautifully and then will play this ridiculous shot every time to get out. And you're like, "Tu kya karta hai, bhai?"
Yeah, but I have to say, Rohit Sharma is the best batsman to watch when he's batting. I mean, he's such a delight to watch. He's just, so that is what. But yeah, we have to talk about this. And I think Sunil Gavaskar, in one of the mid-show, post-show discussions or in the commentary box, I don't remember. I don't even remember whether it was Sunil Gavaskar, but somebody did say, everybody keeps talking about your number 3 and number 5 failing. Nobody's talking about your number 4 failing. Yeah, what the hell is going on with our number 3, 4, 5?
I'm going to give a statistic which might result in a lot of trolling that you get on the podcast comments. But I know, Kushal, you're like,
Go for it.
Virat Kohli, 3 innings, 62 runs. Jasprit Bumrah, 3 innings, 62 runs. But here is the kicker. Virat Kohli was dismissed 3 times. Jasprit Bumrah was only dismissed twice. So Jasprit Bumrah's average after 3 innings, 31.00. Virat Kohli's average is 20.67. that, that is the most damning statistic ever. And it's not the fact that Kohli is been playing back. I think he was looking very fluent in the second innings, right? In the second innings in there. But what kind of a shot was that to get out to? Sam Curran, who was looking like a very average bowler, he bowls the ball on the 7th stump and Kohli is out chasing to that. You know, last time when we were doing the podcast, you and I, we talked about it, that he's getting out on the offside, like literally on the offside in all the 3 innings, and he either has to play a Sachin 2004 type innings where he completely cuts out that shot, or has to completely sort of take a new approach. But if Kohli is playing 100 balls and not scoring like 70 odd runs, which is a lot quicker than test match strike rates, but that's how Kohli plays, then that is a worry. Like in the World Test Championship, I think you raised the issue and you were absolutely correct, Kushal, where he played 149 balls for 44. And you're like, yes, he hung in there, but this is not the Kohli we know. The Kohli we know dominates. No, it was not. I confused. I think we talked, and then I talked with Nikhil as well. Nikhil actually said this. So Kushal's going to hate me for confusing the mehras, but
yes, याद रखना असली मेहरा मैं हूँ.
Asli mehra main hu. I had to say this because we were talking about this, but basically वो point तो सही है ना कि if Kohli is playing 150 balls and only getting scoring at the rate that Pujara does, then that he's not playing his natural game, and that's clearly not working out for him.
Yeah, so okay, let's take this. Crying about spin tracks. As it turns out, they can't play on flat tracks either. I think he's talking about England or India. I don't know, because both the batting sides seem to be playing. Pujara shouldn't be dropped, right? And 14 no balls in one innings. 3-4 points. First of all, I don't think so. Pujara can be dropped. Here, I think eventually in the second innings of the second test match, it was Pujara and Rahane. People forget that they kind of steadied the ship for us in that phase. So they've made sure that they can last the rest of the series. And as far as 14 no balls are concerned, well, what can you say?
I think Jasprit Bumrah might have bowled like 10 or 12 out of those. I don't know if
हाँ,
he
उसमें
bowled
से
all
11 नो बॉल जसप्रीत बुमराह ने डाली थी.
because 4 तो एक ही ओवर में डाली थी. I don't know if
हाँ.
it's with the additional pace or something, but I cannot believe Jadeja bowled a no ball and got Moeen Ali's wicket of that no ball. I mean, I don't know if people remember, but England was like 90 for 5 and Jadeja, or 85 for 5, and Jadeja comes out, gets a wicket, and he is out by like at least 3 inches. ये तो अच्छा है कि Siraj got both Ali and Sam Curran out the next over or after 2 overs, so people don't have, remember. But otherwise, that drop that Kohli had of Butler and this Moeen Ali wicket of a no ball could have actually sealed the match in the wrong direction for India.
Yeah, that was very interesting. Now, here's the thing about the no balls. I think it's fine. I mean, everybody was mad about the no balls, is considering because at that point of time, England had gotten the lead in the second test match. And now, first, let's talk about the second test match too. Now, here's the thing. First, let's discuss this. Do you think the right person, the right player, got the man of the match? Do you think KL deserved it, or you had another candidate for the man of the match?
My thing, I would have probably picked Siraj. I really think Siraj bowled really, really well. He picked up wickets, and every single time when he was bowling, मुझे तो ऐसा ही लगता था एक दो विकेट निकाल के जाएगा. When India used to play Pakistan and Wasim Akram and Waqar Yunus used to bowl, and you'll be like, अब wicket ना निकालो तो अच्छा है, अब wicket ना निकालो तो अच्छा है. That is the happier feeling of that is what I got when I saw Siraj come to bowl, and I think that's what. So we over here we get the Sky Sports coverage from Britain, so I pretty much watch, and that's what Michael Holding and others were saying, that Siraj just looked like that. If Shami had picked up 2 or 3 more wickets, then I would have probably leaned towards Shami because he also scored crucial runs. But Shami only picked up 2 wickets in the match. But Siraj picked up 8, and I think on a flattish wicket where he made the English batsman look very uncomfortable. And look at where he picked up the wickets, right? you're talking about 95 for 5, and if Moeen Ali and Butler had 90 for 5, Moeen Ali and Butler had batted for 10 more overs, the game would have been over, right? It would have been a draw. And he picks up Moeen Ali and Karan with two absolute corkers, and then he comes back and picks up Butler. I mean, unbelievable. And then, of course, Anderson. But it's unbelievable bowling. So my choice would have been Mohammad Siraj.
Yeah, I also thought Mohammad Siraj deserved the Man of the Match award. But here's the thing. The rationale given by the commentary box or the commentary team in Sky Sports was something like this. The openers on the Indian side were put to bat in, considering the overcast conditions. They were playing away from home.
Mm-hmm.
And then in that situation, a guy like KL comes in and scores 100, bats out the entire day, puts
Yeah.
India on top, and
Yeah.
sets up the test match for them, was the reason for victory. But I don't think so. That is a necessary but not sufficient condition, because at the end of the day, if you consider the two scenarios, batting on day one or bowling a side out in less than 60 overs, which one is the harder situation? I think the latter is a harder situation.
Yeah, absolutely. And bowling a home side out in 60 overs. See, when
Yes.
you are
And
the
on a flat wicket.
yeah, on a flat wicket, exactly. But yeah, हमेशा से problem है. And the reason why okay, again, a very controversial thing to say, but the reason why Rahul looked so better, he was good, was because the rest of the batting was mediocre. Like, you really have to see the way the Englishman got out as well. Dom Sibley got a really good man, but Rory Burns, man, what the? By the way, one thing I have to. So I was going off track here, but when I was watching Bumrah and Shami bat the way they did in the second Test match, I was telling my wife as we were watching, I was like, I hope Kohli opens the bowling with Shami and Bumrah, because they are so charged up. I bet you the first 5 overs they're going to get wickets. Both of them got a wicket in their first over. They were, I mean, Bumrah was bowling the first ball from like at 85, 88 miles an hour. He was charged up. And Rory Burns actually just got defeated by pace. You know, ऐसे ऐसे जो आउट हुआ था ना इंडिया में, वो 90s के अपने ओपनर्स थे ना, देवांग गांधी एंड आवर करंट कोच विक्रम राठौड़ एंड अदर्स, दे वुड गेट आउट लाइक दिस. एलन डोनाल्ड एंड शॉन पोलाक वुड बाउंस एंड मुझे हमेशा से याद है ऐसे करके खड़े हो जाते थे, यहाँ बॉल लग के कॉट हो जाते थे गली में. So that is how Rory Burns got out, but that's how charged up our bowlers were.
Yeah, but I think Rory Burns to still in the first innings he scored some 49 odd runs. But Dom Sibley to okay, let's talk about this English side now. Now a lot of people are going to come and say, but this is not the best English side. You don't have Broad. He's out of the series. Obviously, Ben Stokes is not there. एक और उनका कौन सा था वो? एक और उनका था.
कौन सा?
ऑली या कोई तो था, पता नहीं. Ollie
Ollie
Pope?
Stone? No, Ollie Pope.
Ollie Stone.
There are three Ollies: Ollie Robinson, Ollie Pope, and Ollie Stone. So the batsman is Ollie Pope. I think he's injured. He's number 6. But I still think yes.
And even Jofra Archer. Sorry, Jofra Archer भी नहीं है.
Jofra Archer भी नहीं है, and Stuart Broad is injured too. And up to Mark would be injured, but they have 8 days to recuperate. But still, I don't believe the fact that England cannot find a quality number 6, right? The biggest problem with England seems to be that the resources are all diverted towards the 100. And I know people are going to be like, "Yare, IPL to hum bhi khelte," but we don't play a test series in middle of the IPL. Now, I agree there are scheduling conflicts here, there, or something, but they really should have given their team some sort of a match practice. Like, they just look woefully out of depth. And Joe Root makes England look better than they actually are. I mean, the first innings, England got what, 380 or 390? He got 180 not out. That's like close to half the runs. Same thing in the first Test match as well. So kabhi na kabhi to Joe Root fail hoga, which is what happened. And Gavaskar kept saying this on air, or I saw a clip somewhere, because when I was on air to nahi dekha tha on Twitter, that if India gets Joe Root out, India has a chance to win the match. And I'm like, I mean, Sunny Bhai is just as optimistic as you or I might be.
Yes.
So mujhe laga it's the eternal optimism, but he was right. We got out Joe Root in the first over after tea, and they couldn't even last 30 overs after that.
Yeah, but yeah, as crazy as it sounds, if England gets rid of their openers, Burns and Sibley, who the hell is going to open for them?
Yeah. No, Zach Crawley, I think.
So you get that guy, क्या नाम है उसका, that dude, Hasib Hamid and Zach Crawley to open.
I mean, Hasib Hamid looked so bad.
अबे तो किसको डालेगा तू, मेरे को वो बताना.
वो तुम्हें याद है सेकंड टेस्ट मैच में फर्स्ट इनिंग में कैसे आउट हुआ? सिराज bowled a straight ball and he just missed it. I mean,
तो यार बंदा नर्वस हो सकता है ना.
I was listening to Michael Holding and in his typical West Indian accent, he said that ball did absolutely nothing. It was a straight ball. He played down the wrong line and he was just bowled. So
yeah,
I know. I agree. It's probably going to be. It should be if you ask me, it should be Rory Burns and Zach Crawley because Dom Sibley, I think, is scarred just by the field settings that India make. वो उसके लिए 3 लोग लेग साइड पे रखते हैं और वो लिटरली कैचिंग प्रैक्टिस दिखता है उनको हर एक मैच में.
अरे वो कितने लोगों को ट्राई कर चुके हैं. वो एक उन लोगों का जो वनडे की जोड़ी है, जेसन रॉय और जॉनी बेयरस्टो, they have tried Jason Roy in the Ashes. If you remember, Jason Roy was tried in the Ashes. He failed miserably at that time. Then they got Don Sibley and Rory Burns to score that 1-100 and उन्होंने बोला देखा हमको बैटिंग आती है. And then उनको तब से घस रहे हैं अब तक. ऐसा चूसा हुआ आम है वो. ऐसा चूसा हुआ आम है मतलब. और and see the thing with both of them is they average like 29-30. So it's not like they're failing woefully. They fail for 5-6 innings, then they score that one innings में runs, and then it's like नहीं थोड़ा सा उम्मीद दे दी है, अब इसको ट्राई करो. And they keep doing that all the time, so they're not even out of the team.
Yeah. अरे forget that. I think there is another problem also with England, right? With England, the biggest problem is they don't know the county how messed up the county structure is. So county structures में उनके wickets इतना seam कर दिए कि you have these dibbly-dobbly bowlers who bowl at like 120 kilometers an hour and 130 kilometers an hour और वो लोग wicket लेके जाते हैं, right? I joke and say dibbly-dobbly, that used to be India's pace attack for like 15 years in the 90s. Everybody bowling at 120 and 130. But you compare that to the Indian pace bowling, that is, we are almost bowling 15 to 20 kilometers per hour on a regular basis. I mean, right now, the slowest bowler in the Indian pace bowling is Ishant Sharma, who's picked up 310 test wickets. It's that's the thing. And our spin to khelna aata hi nahi hai, which is why the only reason I say Ashwin should play is because England is so bad at spin that even if the wicket is not taking turn, they'll give 2 or 3 wickets away to Ashwin.
Yeah, but I actually, I'm glad that you brought Ishant in. That little spell when Ishant was gotten as the 5th bowler, they literally got him as the 5th bowler. मतलब जडेजा ने ईशांत के पहले बॉलिंग की, मतलब कितनी शर्मनाक चीज थी ये ईशांत शर्मा के लिए. But the point is the way that guy bowled. He was the only guy, if you remember, at that particular phase, he was troubling Joe Root too, Ishant. And then the way he got Johnny Bairstow out in that last ball.
Brilliant.
That was brilliant.
Not just
why is everybody like, will Pujara be part of the playing 11? अरे 40 रन बनाए ना 200 बॉल खेल के, तुम लोगों को क्या प्रॉब्लम है? उसको जीने दो बेचारे को.
नहीं, but Pujara has to, मतलब ये तो चलो, I actually agree why he played the innings he did, but he has to really learn to rotate the strike, yaar. I mean, if we are playing in the first innings, he cannot be playing 56 of 300 balls. You just can't do it, right? Thoda strike rotate करना चाहिए. And Rahane was looking so fluid. Rahane का भी दूसरा, Rahane is like Rohit Sharma in the middle order. He just looks so beautiful when you see him play, and then he'll play such a dumb shot to get out, and you're like, "Tum kya?" I mean, matlab, they just don't look like getting out till they're actually out. But to play the devil's advocate here, Rohit Sharma was very bad as an opener. Also, India almost gave him like, I forget how many chances we gave him till he actually did well. But Rohit Sharma का ये था कि वो हमेशा इंडिया में तो अच्छा ही खेलता था. इंग्लैंड के ओपनर्स तो इंग्लैंड में भी बुरा खेलते हैं और इंडिया में तो उससे भी बुरा खेलते हैं. But
Rohit Sharma has been playing well, yeah.
But I really think it should be Burns and Zach Crawley for another reason also. If at all we play Ashwin and Jadeja on one of the wickets, if in Manchester or Oval में शायद अगर flat हुआ और थोड़ा turn लिया, Zach Crawley plays spinners pretty well. We saw that in India also. That where he came in, I think he scored 1 or 2 50s playing against the spinners. And honestly, मुझे ये पता नहीं है, why did they not pick Ben Foakes? Like, I actually was very impressed with what I saw of Ben Foakes when he was batting in India. Yes, he's a specialist keeper. Yes, he's not like Josh Butler. But then Josh Butler को batsman की तरह खिलाओ and play Ben Foakes. I mean, you really, there are 3 out of your top 4 that suck, right? You really cannot substitute one with Ben Foakes and have Butler move up and have the keeping duty. And Ben Foakes is a far better keeper than Josh Butler. No doubt about that.
Hmm. No, I agree. Even
So,
I was surprised that Ben Foakes is not playing. कि England की हालत इस समय ये हो गई. I did not know that. Then this is a trend that I see in both England and Australia. So what is happening now is, so I think this is a trend in international cricket. So international cricket में mid 70s to mid 90s तक West Indies had this thing that they had 2 awesome sides and the rest of the world had one good side. If they had all their best players, they could compete with West Indies. Then that mantle was taken over by Australia, which had Australia and Australia A equally good, and the rest of the world had one decent side to maybe compete with Australia. Today, I know New Zealand is the world test champion, but let me be very honest. I believe India has taken over that mantle of being the side that has 2 good sides, and everybody else, if they lose their top players, they look very mediocre. Like, look at Australia, yaar. What the hell is happening with Australia? I mean, if they lose their 4 or 5 they lost 4-1 and 4-1 to Bangladesh and West Indies in T20. मतलब शर्मनाक है यार. What the hell is Australia doing? And you remove their good players, they're like poke.
And हम लोग तो ICC की बहुत गालियां देते हैं, but you have to compliment ICC on one thing, because they have done that Super League for the 2023 World Cup and the T20 World Cup next one. These losses actually will matter because each loss matters. So right now, actually, if you look at, and Kushal, I don't know if you can look up, if you can pull it up on your screen, but if you can pull up the ICC 2023 World Super League, जो ODI का है, that table is the most fascinating thing ever. And your viewers are going to love that. And by the way, on a lighter note, if anyone asks if Pujara is going to play in the
You want me to pull up the World Super League table, na?
The World Super League table 2023 World Cup के लिए जो है वो.
Okay, wait. Let me pull it up.
No, I'm saying if anyone asks about Pujara and playing 11, I will think that they are talking about for Chennai Super Kings in IPL T20. Pujara is going to be in the playing 11 or not.
Okay, let me put up the table. Wait.
Yeah.
I have it open. Let me put it up. So this is what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
This one, right?
Yeah, exactly. So if you look at where the numbers are, and South Africa के लिए आपको नीचे जाना पड़ता है, number 10. Now, agreed, they have only played like 6 games or something, but I'm saying if South Africa or Sri Lanka lose a series like this, like 4-1 or 3-1, they are screwed.
How can Afghanistan and Ireland be better than South Africa? माना South Africa की लगी हुई है.
नहीं आयरलैंड ने हराया ना साउथ अफ्रीका को एक बार अभी.
अरे एक ही बार हराया ना यार, मगर मतलब.
But that's what I'm saying कि अगर आप if South Africa plays against Bangladesh and loses 4-1, and if they win against Ireland 2-1, that one loss against Ireland is probably going to hurt them even more. So
this is pathetic.
That's what I'm saying. This is, I mean, agreed, this is early days और अभी 1.5 साल बाकी है, बहुत कुछ हो सकता है उसमें. But my point is, keep an eye out on these people. Things could change very quickly. और ये तो one day, this is one dayers, right? T20 का तो उससे भी खतरनाक लगेगा. अब तो खैर World T20 है, but T20 का अगर टेबल ऐसा आ जाएगा, because there the situation is even more fluid. I mean, this time Sri Lanka is going to play the qualifiers of World T20, and Afghanistan has qualified. So I don't know what Daniel Alexander will do. He'll probably be tweeting, "Oh, Sri Lanka won against Oman. Look at Dilruwan Pereira's century against Papua New Guinea." I mean, he's probably going to.
Daniel Alexander है ना, वो एक अलग लेवल का दुखी आत्मा है बेचारा.
Champion bowler Dhananjaya De Silva picks up three wickets in 2 overs against PNG, and people will be like, "पहले ये बताओ who is PNG?" उसके बाद बोलो. So we should be prepared for these types of headlines coming from Sri Lankan cricket very soon. I feel very bad because I think Sri Lanka has the potential to do a lot, but it's just that they are not able to get their team together. They seem to have like more administrators than cricketers at this point.
Yeah, but even there, cricket is in a complete mess because of politics, right? The same
My,
story
my,
with Sri Lankan cricket that is with South Africa.
my point is, in Sri Lanka and South Africa, if you are doing worse than a country which is where no whole country can actually go and play matches, Pakistan, and a country that's literally right now in turmoil, Afghanistan, what the hell are you doing in life? Like seriously, I mean, how can South Africa be so bad? मुझे पता ही नहीं चलता. And मतलब, can you imagine they were debating whether to play AB de Villiers for 4 years, and he couldn't play in the prime of his career when he's smashing bowlers to all parts of the planet on IPL. He's not playing a single. I cannot understand for the love of life that AB de Villiers will play the IPL but not play the World T20, which happens literally 15 days after the IPL.
Because that's how South Africa cricket has look. But that's a separate issue. I mean, I think that has got to do with this classical case of
Hmm.
should sports represent societal problems or not, and that's a very deep philosophical issue where I
Hmm.
believe, in my personal view, that we can never ignore societal problems and live in silos.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
the thing is, sport is the one place where only a meritocracy survives, nothing else survives. And if you deviate from the meritocratic standard, sport is going to expose you in 2 seconds, because it's all
Yeah.
skills, because the rules
So
are set, that conditions are set, everything is very standard. And see, the thing about life and sport is, in sport you can control the variables till a certain limit, in life you cannot. That is why
exactly.
sport tends to be a very good meritocracy in comparison to life, which is why
Exactly.
sport is a very different. But yeah,
Uh,
South Africa, what is Shreyas saying? Likes of Stokes, Folks, and Vokes are missing. Yeah, they are missing, Shreyas, which is why I okay, now let us talk about it. So now
हम
that
लोग
I
इतने
am,
ऐसे दूसरे कॉन्टिनेंट पे चले गए. Back to India versus
yeah,
England. Sorry people, but yeah.
yeah. So okay, now let's get back to the England versus India series. Obviously, so I already have egg on my face. I had said India is going to lose 3-1 or 2-1 in the series. So it looks like abhi tak to 1-0 hai, but there are still 3 test matches to go. So okay, tell me anything else that stood out for you. I'll tell you what stood out for me in these 2 test matches. I think we have to talk about this. I think there is no point in avoiding this incident, which was, to me, I think the highlight of the entire match for me, and I'm going to share this
Hmm.
because I think this is the difference between the current Indian team and all the Indian teams of the past. I'm being very
Hmm.
honest here. I think this is why this Indian team wins. So, did you see this?
Huh? Swearing at me again? Like just me? Huh? It's what you want. No one else can. You want to be a running too? Huh? This is in your backyard. Jimmy! Nice, Jim! Yeah. Jump. Very good here, lads. Very good here, Jim's up. Thank you.
This was amazing. What do you make
Amazing.
of this? Let's talk about this. Was the highlight
This
for me that the entire test match.
this was the moment that changed the match, because in the first innings, James Anderson picks up 5 wickets, right? And pretty much was the difference between India going from like 200 and I don't know 70 for 3 or 80 for 3 to like what we ended up with, correct? And in the second innings, James Anderson does not pick up a single wicket. And then when Bumrah comes into bowl, James Anderson and others, they start peppering him with bouncers. I mean, I love Bumrah, but he has a batting, or he had a batting average from 3.3 before this game, and they helped him bump it up to 5.0 by bowling him absolute rubbish. So I think Kohli and Bumrah got under their nerves, and rather than bowling logically, they started bowling emotionally. And that's the reason, that's the difference between, and this is exactly what Steve Waugh's Australia would do. Like, let's not pretend this is. मुझे याद है Javagal Srinath bounced out Ricky Ponting, and Ricky Ponting was hurt and bleeding. So Srinath, being the nice guy, he went to apologize, and Ponting cursed back at him. I mean,
Yeah.
and 50,000 Indians like us who were watching up that at 7 in the morning, they're like, how can you do that, right? And go from there to a year later, and India was miserably thrashed, right? Sachin was the captain then. Then a year later, India is in Nairobi playing the ICC knockouts, and and the wicket is doing a little bit. So Glenn McGrath, he was like James Anderson, right? Like usko ek sikka do, usi pe 15 ball aayenge. So I'm sorry, he was bowling there. Sachin Tendulkar comes and charges him out and hits him for 3 sixes. So Glenn McGrath tries to say something. Tendulkar actually flicks and throws an F-bomb at him and just walks off. And McGrath looked like someone had poured, something in his ears. But that was what Kohli. The reason I think Sachin went that aggressive approach is he saw what had happened to India when they went to Australia, and they were the ones that were bullied. So they gave it back, and this is what Kohli did. So I think this is what champion teams do.
And you know what, I want to talk about this. Why does everybody have a problem with it? Like, why do umpires get into it? Did you see Ray Illingworth or whatever that Richard Illingworth, jo bhi umpire tha, he was like, zip it up. Arey, kyo zip it up? Why do you want to make sport boring where everybody is so nice and everybody is like, hello, let us hold hands? Arey, shut up, yaar. Bolne do ek dusre ko, maza aata hai. There are lines which are not crossed in self-censorship.
Yeah, Tony Gregg actually told a wonderful thing when this whole Harbhajan Simons controversy interrupted in Australia in 2007, where he said this is not a tea party, and for years and years and years the Australians have given plenty to the teams. So now many of the teams are actually giving it back to the Australians, and they don't like it. Right now, he's like, having said that, there are lines which should not have been crossed, and if there was an agreement way to not use a certain word against them, or if any word has a racist connotation, it should never be said, right? But if there is a friendly banter if going on, then the umpire should not get into. And Arjuna Ranatunga had this wonderful idea. He's like, why don't you just keep the stump mics up? Unko bolne do jo bolna hai wo. Aap stump mics up rakho and let it be heard on the mics. If they're saying something very funny, like the whole Rishabh Pant and babysitter thing with Tim Payne, I think that was absolutely brilliant. Why should that not be said? Where he's saying that, oh boy, someone is so old, they're going to lose their Australian captaincy, and joke about babysitting their kids and him going to actually babysit his kids. That was phenomenal. So actually, those moments are what keep sport real. आप अगर बाहर जा रहे हो and you are giving it your 100%, and yet life goes against you, आप ऐसा करोगे, no sportsmanship, life तेरे साथ बहुत बुरा, आप गालियाँ ही दोगे ना उनको. That is exactly what sport is. You react the way. But having said that, they should not endorse anything racist or anything wrong or anything inappropriate being said. But अगर ये friendly banter हो रहा है यार, होने तो अच्छा है. This is nice. It's good for the game.
And look, two peculiar incidents, stand out for me. Obviously, the one at the Sydney Test match where the Gabba happened with Ashwin and Tim Payne, and that galvanized the team. And this time it was Bumrah bouncing Anderson, and then they went after Bumrah. What I loved was the way the entire team management and each and every player came down to greet Bumrah and Shami when they came back after the break. This team is something else. Look, they will lose a lot of matches, but when it comes to team spirit, I don't think so. You'll see another team with this kind of a spirit where everybody backs each other to the hilt.
They just don't give up. They just don't give up. The self-belief hai ye team mein, that is on another level, right? Because everybody was talking, why did Kohli get those people? Like this, Shami spent 7 minutes changing the leg guard and he played 3 balls and walked off. And why did we waste 20 minutes? 4 over, wo bhari to nahi padenge at the end. At the end, it didn't even matter. We won with more than 48 balls to spare, right? But the belief that they had, कि नहीं, कुछ भी हो, हम लोग कर ही पाएंगे. We are just not going to give up. That is just unbelievable, right? On a lighter note, by the way, Virat Kohli ko किसी को बोलना चाहिए that your boys have shown that they can bowl overs very fast also. So अभी over rate के लिए please penalty मत लो, जल्दी bowling करवाओ अपने लड़कों से and make sure you get 90 overs in.
Yeah, that's there because these guys don't realize कि उससे वो World Test Championship में भी असर होगा ना.
Absolutely. We lost 4 points or something. But I honestly think the penalty should be a lot severe. मुझे तो लगता है उसी मैच में पेनल्टीज होनी चाहिए कि अगर आप ओवररेट कम कर रहे हो आपको 5 रन एंड इफ समवन्स बॉलिंग इन द सेकंड इनिंग्स आई एक्चुअली थिंक कि उनको बोलो कि इफ यू डोंट हिट दिस ओवर्स पर आवर आपका टारगेट कम हो जाएगा और समथिंग एंड आई हैव अनदर सॉर्ट ऑफ सजेशन दैट पीपल शुड थिंक कि रिव्यूज का जो टाइम है इफ देयर आर 7 और 8 रिव्यूज बीइंग टेकन ओवर अ डे द आईसीसी शुड बी लाइक कि अरे अगर 7 रिव्यू है तो ईच रिव्यू की जो 45 या 50 सेकंड्स या 1 मिनट जो है add those 7 minutes to the end of the day and make sure you play extra because ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए that if umpires have a bad day those 10 minutes means that 3 overs less are bowled. Yeah, people are paying a lot of money to see test matches and test cricket needs to get out of this weird halo of sticking to the time. You know, if the conditions are nice and if there is like अगर 4 बजे बारिश बंद हो जाती है why can't you amend the rules where you also play in the night? Like this is so archaic that we are like 6 बजे तक दिन बंद कर दो or something. There, if they want to revive test cricket, it is almost a ridiculous thing that first test match was called off at 4 o'clock and Michael Vaughan tweeted by 4:15 there was bright sunshine in Nottingham and it stayed till 8 o'clock. So you're telling me that they couldn't play from 4:15 to 8:30 without even, I mean, sunshine for 3 to 4 hours and bowl 40 overs? And in 40 overs, 150 runs was not a bad target to set. And if England was able to take 2 or 3 wickets, it would have been, I mean, imagine unleashing Rishabh Pant or having a situation where Pujara is told कि बेटा तू जाके मार उनको. I mean, Pujara will be like, पहली बार मुझे बोले मार खाओ मत. उनको एक्चुअली जाके धो डालो.
ये किस्सा याद है तुझे एंडरसन के क्लार्क के साथ भी कभी ऐसा भिड़ा था England lost 5-0 from there but have you guys changed your predictions given the English injury वो लेने के लिए आ गए लोग मेरी देखो भाई मैं तो फिर भी staying true to my predictions मैं अभी बोल रहा हूँ इंडिया 2-1 हारेगी
So no, I'll come to the predictions in a second. But he's right about the Anderson 2006-7 tour because मैं उसी पे आने वाला था. If you guys remember in the 2006-7 tour, I think that's the one he's talking about, right? When England lost 5-0. England में second test match थी Adelaide में जहाँ Australia scored like 600 or something. And or England and Australia both scored either 500 or something. And England की lead ultimately कुछ 23 runs थी. Australia, led by Shane Warne, bowled England out for 133 on the last day or 140 and then chased down that 165 with like a few overs to spare. तो वो जो attitude थी ना मगराथ और वॉर्न के टाइम पे ऑस्ट्रेलिया की कि you've scored 500 in the first innings, we're still going to get you out. It was very similar to what we saw this test match, except उसमें England was batting in the third innings and they had no clue what McGrath and Vaughan were doing. So I think मुझे that attitude is reflective in this Indian team. And about he's actually very true.
This is the most important observation that the main reason why we
I actually
don't beat
stopped
New
making
Zealand
my
is
point
because
about the predictions just to read this. He's so right.
Yeah, because the New Zealand team does not fight. They're so boring. अरे झगड़ा करो तो मजा आता है वो लोग आते हैं ऐसे मतलब शांति से बैठे रहते हैं we need to somehow rile the Kiwis up. We need to find a way to rile them up.
नहीं पर नहीं होगा. I just don't think Kane Williamson is that kind of person who riles it up. And ultimately it comes from the leader, right? MS Dhoni के टाइम पे इंडिया कितनी riled up देखी. India actually let Ian Bell come back after the run out. कोहली को अगर ऐसा रन आउट like if you tell Kohli to ask someone back वो स्टंप उखाड़ के चला जाएगा कि I'm not calling him back, right? So I think it matters. I think India during Dhoni was the same way. That I mean, of course we had our fights and of course we had our things, but more or less we were very reasonably thanda compared to that. Ganguly was like this. Ganguly was the one who set this standard now of giving it back to the opponents कि जाके उनका सर तोड़ दो. अब तो बेचारा he doesn't talk about his aggressive days, but I think Virat Kohli is actually just following the legacy of Saurav Ganguly.
किसी ने लिखा है इंडियन माइकल वॉन है कुशल. लो तेरे मुंह में धूल तेरे मुंह में कीड़े. अरे भाई wow, we have the best live viewers. Yeah.
But coming back to the predictions, I think there is देखो last दो test match series में India went one up in both and then ended up losing, or went 1-1 and ended up losing. So I'm not saying that India is going to lose yet, but there is a chance, especially in Leeds and Manchester. You have a grumpy James Anderson with a lot of rest.
Headingley is a pitch that is assists fast bowling. So do you think it helps us or helps them? Historically, Headingley has been a fast bowling
No,
pitch.
it assists swing bowling, right? So if it assists swing bowling, it helps them. If it assists fast bowling, then it helps us. Because England are a better swing bowling lineup than India is, right? And Stuart Broad and Mark Wood are out, so I don't know who their third pacer is going to be. But honestly speaking, if it's like some unknown quantity that India is, and I don't know what the hell is England doing by not playing Jack Leach. I mean, it is so dumb that
I think Jack Leach का चश्मा खराब है इसके लिए उसको select नहीं कर रहे.
You have one decent bowler who actually looked like picking up wickets in India. One decent spinner, and
Yeah.
you don't pick it. So I mean, I think, and Sam Curran has just looked so bad. मतलब Sam Curran तो एक तो बेचारा है छोटा, गली का बच्चा लगता है, you know, and I mean कोई भी अपने आगे उसको पेल देता है. शमी और बुमराह भी पेल रहे थे लास्ट मैच में.
Okay, so Tanmay Kulkarni, being Tanmay Kulkarni, says, finally, can we say that we are Sarva Shaktishali in cricket now? We are cricket and cricket is us. Well, I think cricket is definitely our premier sport in India as far as I'm concerned. Whether we are cricket and cricket is us, मतलब ये क्या cricket की Indira Gandhi moment है क्या? I don't know what you're trying to say, but as far as I'm concerned, look, I have never understood this hatred of cricket. In terms of sport discussion in India, I believe cricket is amazing. I don't know.
मुझे याद है कि Olympics के बाद, and I'm glad there have not been people writing idiotic things like Olympics खत्म हो गया, now we are back to following cricket and something. America में Olympics खत्म हो गया and everybody's watching NFL preseason. Like they're not, NFL actual season has not even started and people are watching preseason and they're watching NBA and things like that. That's how countries work. No one really wants to watch live shooting or live archery. I mean, archery is fun to watch something, but you can't just watch it full time, right? It has to be acknowledged that we cannot be just either or. It has to coexist. And ultimately, cricket has given you a template. Like, why was Kabaddi League so popular, right? Why started that Premier Hockey League or something like that? So because
Pro Kabaddi.
Pro Kabaddi. No, that's what I said. Pro Kabaddi is so popular because IPL gave you a template, right? And another thing is BCCI को आप 1,000 नहीं 1,00,000 गालियाँ दो for many reasons, some of which are justified. You cannot give them galis for 3 reasons. First, taking the game to the grassroots. Boss tiers 2 cities mein, it is such a structured approach. Second, looking out for all the players, past, present, and future. Look at how the past players of other countries are treated and look at how the past players of India are treated. They get pensions and everything, right? Now, a lot of people say,
even medical help. Not on just pension, I think they get medical assistance also.
Yeah, a lot of people are like, BCCI ke against bolte nahi hai, ye wo. I'm like, that is a separate debate, right? But past players, I would want that if you've played for India or agar aapko play karte hue injury aayi hai, so you need, if BCCI looks after you, that's a great thing. And third thing, and the most important thing, even though there are politicians involved with BCCI, there is politics in BCCI, they have kept out.
But there is professionalism.
There is professionalism. They have kept out Indian political nonsense out of BCCI. And sorry, there is another fourth thing that I forgot. There is insane amount of political consensus in BCCI. Insane amount of consensus. And that
not only that, you have to remember, you have both Congress and BJP in BCCI. Rajiv Shukla hai to Jay Shah hai.
नहीं, ये तो जय शाह तो अभी है, पहले शरद पवार और अरुण जेटली थे ही ना.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. See, cricket has always been like that. Cricket में है ना, real sense में है ना, इंडिया की unity दिखाई जाती है. सारे आ जाओ तुम. इतना पैसा है, सब खा खा के खुश रहते हैं.
अरे, नहीं. So Saurav Ganguly right now is running BCCI along with Jay Shah, right? Saurav Ganguly was considered to be Jagmohan Dalmia's poster boy, right? In 2005-06, Jagmohan Dalmia's nominee was Ranbir Singh Mahendra, who's a Congress leader from Haryana. So, I mean, and Jagmohan Dalmia's opponent was the Sharad Pawar lobby. At that time, Sharad Pawar was in alliance with the Congress, being the agriculture minister of India. So, BCCI is far more complicated. It's messy. It's gone through a lot of mess. You had the whole Lalit Modi saga. But ultimately, the cricketers and the cricket have not suffered. and we have to get out.
अभी
और
तो
दूसरी
BCCI under the Supreme Court है.
No, in spite of that, BCCI has done well. Because usually even that means a bigger disaster. The committee
So
forms.
a few more chats. Okay, fact check. Adit,
Correct.
it was 2013 Ashes. Kerry Johnson wali.
Yeah.
Okay, this is actually a very, very valid question. What do you think? Do you think the Indian team is looking overconfident nowadays? They did look, and their overconfidence was exposed in the World Test Championship final by a team that was not needling them and exposed their batting weaknesses.
It is overconfident. First, let me just clarify that point. He's right. That's why I was not sure the Anderson Clark ka jhagda kab hua tha, but he's right. It was 2013. But the Adelaide Test match that I was talking about, that is still 2006-7. England lost both 5-0 to Australia, incidentally, 7 years apart. So, but back to what you said. Yes, Indian team is looking overconfident. देखो ये भी है कि I said that तेरे साथ ही बात हुई थी कुशल की इंडिया की टीम में देखता हूँ ना मुझे पाकिस्तान की टीम आती है 90s में very mediocre batting lineup, never performing to potential, but the bowling lineup of champions.
Bowling always makes you win matches.
Yeah, and which is why 250-300 का target अगर पाकिस्तान के against आता था, it was never a safe target because you had Akram, Waqar and Shoaib Akhtar, and then Saklan doing some sort of things, right? India में thankfully we also have a set opening pair where Rohit Sharma and whoever is with Rohit Sharma, either Gill or Rahul or something, is doing well. But we really need to get this 4, 5, 6 problem sorted out. Rishabh Pant is there, and if you are wanting to give Rishabh Pant a role where he'll give you an minimum 25-30 every innings, then you have to have 3, 4 and 5 where one of them scores a big 100. मुझे याद ही नहीं है Rahane, except for Rahane scoring 100 in Melbourne, तो 3, 4 and 5 में से किसने big 100 पिछले 2.5 सालों में मारा है? I really cannot think of. I mean, our viewers, if you can think of any, please write. But I don't think. I believe कुछ हुआ ही नहीं है.
So live viewers like to rub it in. So Varun says, "Hi Kushal, does this win still give us a false dose of optimism? Is losing 3-1 still on the cards?" 3-1 to nahi, Varun. I still think we'll lose 2-1. Don't forget 2014 also we started very well, and then England had made a thumping comeback in the series in England.
I find it hard to believe that we lose at the Oval. वो शायद हम लोग जीतेंगे या draw हो जाएगा because it's usually a patta. You know, Oval is their Sydney. Usually a patta or a little bit of spin or something. So yeah, we won Lords, drew Nottingham in 2014. Then in 2018 we won in Nottingham, and then we lost everything else. But last 2018 में तो एक विराट कोहली का भी एक अजूबा था ना, on a wicket that was turning square. He picked just one spinner. And Ashwin was not in good form at that time, and India couldn't chase down 200 runs. So, जो England के साथ अभी हुआ था, India के साथ तब हुआ था, and that's why I say that the first Test match wasn't a done deal, क्योंकि target similar था to that time, and if the ball was swinging around, but boss, can we actually pause for a moment and applaud the fitness of James Anderson? He's the oldest bowler.
Man, what a champion bowler.
39 years old, and he's bowling continuously between 80 and 85 miles an hour.
Dude, he consistently bowls at 85 miles an hour. How the hell is he doing that? How is his body holding up?
और ये तो कुछ नहीं. Remember that spell that Anderson and Stokes bowled in Ahmedabad in India, where it was like, and I have been in Ahmedabad in many. I mean, I was born and raised there. Between February and April, boss, if you have to bowl even 5 overs in that heat, it will kill you. They bowled 20 each, and Stokes actually bowled a spell of 10 overs. I mean, that was unreal. In the end, वो बेचारा मतलब गिर गया था. He actually collapsed on the floor. So I actually understand why Stokes had to take a mental break, because that man has just given everything to England cricket.
Okay, who would be the next coach of India after Ravi Shastri? ये लोग को रवि शास्त्री को निकालने की इतनी जल्दी क्यों है?
कौन होगा?
I think they will continue with Ravi Shastri. Arey, tell me, the man has had success in Australia, then again success in Australia. Now, if he wins in England, what the hell, man? Why would they remove him? He's going to be continued. Uska contract continue होएगा.
वो खुद निकल जाएगा after a little while, because he would want to leave on a high.
Then in my view, it is Rahul Dravid or कौन होगा?
Rahul Dravid and Kohli, will they work? I don't know. Rahul
I
Dravid,
don't think so. Rahul Dravid will come in when Kohli is the captain. I see Kohli getting out of the captaincy in another 2 years after the T20 World Cup.
agreed. I think Kohli is only the captain to win one ICC championship, and maybe either T20 World Cup or next year ka T20 World Cup. But ultimately, if Rahane is the captain or Rohit Sharma is the captain and Rahul Dravid as the coach, has to be.
Okay, so apparently age restriction criteria bhi hai Ravi Shastri ke saath. Then I don't know. I don't see Rahul Dravid becoming a coach of India.
Then I'll stroke past demons again. I think Anil Kumble should be brought back if Kohli is no longer the captain.
Yeah,
वो करेक्ट नहीं मुझे
but that's not going to happen, my brother. Okay, somebody has asked what has happened to Rohit Sharma and what's up with Kohli. Look, as far as Rohit Sharma is concerned, look, he's always been an inconsistent test match batsman, but I think we should give him at least a 10-15 test match run for a player of his caliber. I think he'll come good. As far as Kohli is concerned, yeah, ठीक है ना यार. I mean, he's Kohli यार. थोड़ा तो उसको जीने दो चैन से. In my view, he's Kohli.
So Rohit Sharma, I agree with you. I think he needs to be given an extended run. He has to work on his game also a little bit more. और उसके साथ हुक का तो ये है ना कि a lot of blackjack players know that if you have 16 in 2 cards, you either hit 16 all night or you either stay on 16 all. रोहित शर्मा का ये है, उसने अगर डिसाइड किया कि मैं आज हुक करने ही वाला हूँ तो सबको हुक करता है. उसने अगर डिसाइड किया मैं नहीं करने वाला हूँ तो बिल्कुल नहीं करता है. As far as Kohli is concerned, he really either needs a break or needs to talk to someone who's not Ravi Shastri or some coach, because at this point it's not issue with skills, it's become mental. Because वो जो उसका footwork है, the way he's getting out, it's so tentative and it's so un-Kohli like, right? तू कैसे ऐसे out हो रहा है? And he's hit that crucial 31-32 mark, which is where most players have struggled, right? Look up Sachin's record in 2004 and 2005. He had the issue with tennis elbow and stuff, but after he played that amazing innings against Australia, he struggled for a bit. Then he worked on his game, and then the way he came back in 2005 and then on, it was a completely different person. So Kohli may need that sort of guidance or thing.
I think one of our live viewers has given the suggestion. I think Rahul Gandhi should be the new coach of India. He'll solve Kohli's problem.
Why do you think Raga is Rahul Gandhi? कोई और भी हो सकता है Raga?
पता नहीं. राहुल द्रविड़ तो नहीं हो सकता. रागा कौन है बे? एक ही तो रागा है.
I know, I'm just kidding. मैं वही सोच रहा था. पर नहीं, राहुल गांधी तो कोहली को जाके बोलेगा lack of form is just a state of mind.
Yeah.
When you hit a 4, Anderson will depart with the escape velocity of Jupiter. So for people who don't know why I made those comments, go look up escape velocity in Rahul Gandhi. You'll have a good.
Yeah. So somebody has made a claim, Anderson को Australia लेके जाओ, fitness देखो फिर. I'm sorry, I think Anderson is going to be fit. They're going to use him sparingly in this series, but considering the kind of halat England is in, maybe they'll play him out all the test matches and then he'll rest and then he'll play straight in the Ashes.
Chennai or Ahmedabad mein he was so fit. If he's fit in 2 of the hottest places in India, why would he not be fit in Australia?
Yeah, I think he can play in Australia.
इनफैक्ट मुझे लगता है जब एडिलेड की डे नाइट मैच इस बार अगर एडिलेड में हुई ऑस्ट्रेलिया की, एंड इफ द बॉल स्विंग्स, एंडरसन ऑस्ट्रेलिया को पेल देगा, बिकॉज़ ऑस्ट्रेलिया हैज जीरो स्किल सेट अगेंस्ट स्विंग बॉलिंग. इफ यू थिंक इंग्लैंड डिपेंड्स ऑन रूट, ऑस्ट्रेलिया में तो सिर्फ वो स्मिथ और लाबुशेन है. पर ऑस्ट्रेलिया, द डिफरेंस इज इंग्लैंड कमेंटेटर्स आर नॉट अफ्रेड टू क्रिटिसाइज इंग्लैंड. ऑस्ट्रेलिया के कमेंटेटर्स, व्हेन यू सी देम डिस्क्राइबिंग ऑस्ट्रेलिया, दैट लुक्स लाइक दिग्विजय सिंह एंड मणिशंकर अय्यर डिस्क्राइबिंग राहुल गांधी.
Yeah, and I think the only people who seem to be criticizing Australia consistently are the boys at the Great Cricket Podcast. They seem to be going really hard. So one of our live viewers has actually decoded what Raga is. They say Raga is Rohan Gavaskar.
Nice. See, मुझे लगा कोई ना कोई तो दे देगा.
You know, another guy actually I wanted to ask you about is someone who has disappointed me is that Sam Curran guy. उसकी bowling नहीं चल रही है 2 टेस्ट मैच से.
Because I think the swing that was like Lords में इतना swing नहीं हो रहा था ball जितना, and Sam Curran is only a factor when the ball swings, right? So Sam Curran is England's left-handed Manoj Prabhakar. Manoj Prabhakar was deadly when the ball swung, right? But if the ball doesn't swing and you bowl at 120, 130 kilometers an hour, Bumrah bhi aage aapko peel dega, right? And it doesn't help that his batting has been terrible. Like he got a king pair, and for people who don't know what a king pair is, he got out on the first ball in both the innings in the same fashion
No,
to the
yeah, I
same
like
bowler.
him. I hope he keeps on doing this in this series, and then in the next series against Australia, he scores a lot of runs.
No, I think he'll be dropped against Australia. I'm pretty sure he'll be dropped because Australia ke time pe Ben Stokes aa jayega. And why would you play Sam Curran then? If Ben Stokes was there, Archer is out of the season. It would be Anderson, Ollie Robinson, and Mark Wood. Ollie Robinson has been really good. Really good.
Yeah.
I'm actually like him and Kane Williamson and Mohammad Siraj are three of the best fast bowlers I've seen in the last 2 years.
I agree. So
sorry.
Anderson is overrated. He must be on some sort of PEDs. What nonsense! They're all tested. They're not on PEDs. Kuch bhi. Does the 2003 World Cup final haunt the Indian team? I don't think so. It haunts this team at all. They don't care. This is a completely new generation. Nobody has played 2003.
No, I think it haunts the Indian fans more than the Indian team.
Yeah.
Because
Indian
I think
teams
Indian fans actually believed for once that we could defeat Australia in 2003. Indian team had no such doubts. they knew कि एक बार तो हारेंगे ही Australia से.
Okay. Chalo, I think we've covered everything, Adit. So last closing, Adit, बता क्या है तेरी prediction अगले 3 टेस्ट मैच की?
देखो, team test match ki, I'll give you 2 types of predictions. One realistic prediction. I think India probably, looking at how England has been, I will have to revise it to 2-1 to India because England has just not looked good, right? But I would not be surprised if England came back and won 1 or 2 test matches because they just have to find a decent bowling attack that to exploit the Indian middle order. But most likely oval wala draw hoga and you're going to see results both in Leeds and Manchester. The Leeds game is going to be decided on day 1. If whichever team plays, if they're all out for 180 or 200, England or India, dono mein possible hai, game khatam. If the day ends at one team being 200 for 5, then we are headed for one of the best test series we've ever seen because then it's going to be wide open. And I just hope we have a test series that rivals 2018 2021 India versus Australia.
Okay, I still think it is going to be 2-1 in favor of England. I believe India tends to dip after the mid-range of the series, and I think the English board and the English team will tell the groundsmen thoda aur grass dal. And now they'll realize that if you needle this team gets very aggressive. So they're not going to needle this team. A lot of people change it. Last question, somebody has asked, how do you rate Babar against other great batsmen? I think Babar Azam is an amazing batsman. He's early on in his career. To judge a career, at least you have to play 50 to 70 test matches. Then you can make a formal judgment about someone. And just a passive comment, Aadit, actually we should, then we can wrap it up. I think another great test match just got over between West Indies and Pakistan. Obviously, I could not see that test match. I saw all the day's highlights on the West Indies cricket YouTube channel. What a fantastic game, yeah.
Yeah, oh, brilliant. And it was nervous moments, right? And I think Pakistan probably should have won. They just made a lot of errors in the last sort of few minutes. And if people haven't seen this, I would recommend go back to West Indies versus Pakistan 2000 series, where West Indies again won with Jimmy Adams and Courtney Walsh winning by 1 wicket with a far stronger Pakistani team, and they committed similar harakiri. It's a fantastic test match. Shaheen Shah Afridi is a great find for Pakistan. That man is just bowling like a dream. See, Babar Azam ka ye hai ki I think Babar Azam is fantastic. He's a phenomenal batsman. The only reason I'm not putting him in the same bracket as a Kohli, Root, Williamson or Steven Smith is he still is 2 years away from that. If he keeps doing what he does 2 years, and if he continues to do this in one-day cricket, I think he's a better test batsman than a one-day batsman. I know उसका वनडे record मैंने देखा है, it's phenomenal, but his play in test matches is brilliant. But again, the reason why we get into this annoying discussion is the Babar Azam fan group led by Mr. Alexander and that other Dennis tennis whatever guy is just so annoying that you forget having any nuanced discussion over Azam and Kohli, right? And this is more annoying than the Salman Shahrukh Khan flan dude. I mean, I'm like, yaar, band karo. Watch the match and watch good cricket. Kya rote rehte ho pura din?
Yeah, the one thing that stood out for me in the Pakistan versus West Indies test match was the atrocious umpiring. Just go through
Oh,
the amount of times
I would.
DRS was used and the umpires were proven wrong. What atrocious, pathetic umpiring standards are being practiced in the West Indies right now.
So I mean, that is what I was saying. The only thing West Indies seems to be good at in umpiring, batting, and bowling is T20. Also, they won the Test matches. But seriously, that's why I was saying. I saw so many reviews there. अगर उसमें बारिश हो जाती है, and if you have wasted 20 minutes on reviews throughout the day or 10 minutes on reviews, why not add 10 minutes or 20 minutes to the day's play at the end? Because the umpiring was awful, and I know they're not putting in neutral umpires or something, but trust me, reviews are fun when they happen once or twice a day or something. It's no fun if they keep on happening because then it just becomes boring. So
but if there ever was a great positive affirmation of the DRS system, it is this West Indies versus Pakistan test match, and that proves why you need DRS, because such atrocious umpiring. Imagine what kind of an impact it would have had on that test match. It was so bad. The most obvious, outrageous plumb LBWs were denied by the umpires, and then turned
they
over.
were not just against Pakistan. They were wrong for both teams. But
both.
We forgot a big thing, Kushal. India unlocked a major achievement. Virat Kohli got 3 DRSs right in this innings. He got Bairstow right. Moeen Ali bhi uska right hi tha, lekin Jadeja ka no ball aaya. And then he got what's that guy? Ollie Robinson right. And guys, this is why Bumrah is a champion. First when I bol raha tha, people were asking, remember हमने जब किया था कि Bumrah ने तो World Test Championship में he was not playing well. Look at that slower ball to get rid of Ollie Robinson.
Yeah, brilliant.
Who bowls a bouncer where he could probably smell the ball, and then that slower ball where he had, and that till that point they had played out 75 balls in that partnership. That is the brilliance that defeats good teams from the best, differentiates.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. I think that we'll end on that note. As always, Aadit, pleasure talking to you. Thanks for coming.
Absolutely.
Okay, guys. Time to wrap this up. We'll be back obviously now after the series is ended, and let's see whether my prediction is right. I still predict a 2-1 win for England. I hope India wins, but I still think England's going to come back. It is their home condition. So like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave your comments. A lot of new merch is out, so you can go to kushalmehra.com or kadakmerch.com, wherever you want to go to, and buy the merch. Become a member on YouTube, subscribe on Patreon, or send your donations through UPI. I'll see you next time. Until then, take care. Goodbye.